get started, you might tell me that's a little too loud, or keep the voice where it is and turn the guitar down. So we'll figure it out as we go along. And I will start you off with a pandemic lockdown love song. Okay. I wrote this because we were stuck at home. And when I say stuck at home, I mean, I loved it.
Where's Clarice? Did you write that for her?
I wrote it for Clarice. All the silly love songs are for Clarice. And I might say this before we get started. I didn't used to write silly love songs. I used to think of myself as a tough, badass kind of guy, and I wrote about death and drug addiction and
all those happy subjects.
All the dark, scary shit of life. I thought that was my chore, to be a serious songwriter. But I like writing humor, and now I like writing silly love songs. It's called Home Where I'm Loved. My dally dog and days have all faded away. I'm glad to just be home now where I'm loved. Though my head still takes a notion to take a trip across the ocean, flirt with all those senoritas in Barcelona. It's best I just stay here where my name is only called in the clear and clever cadence of your voice, where desire plays like music and shadows on the walls. When you glide across a room, I have no choice. My heart is in submission to those feral expeditions. I'm glad to just be home where I'm loved. Now my head forgets the trouble, all the wreckage and the rubble from the warfare with my own testosterone. My heart always remembers the terms of my surrender. It's best I just stay home where I'm loved. Yes, it's best I just stay here where my name is only called in the clear and clever cadence of your voice, where desire plays like music in shadows on the walls. When you glide across a room, I have no choice. My heart is in submission to those feral expeditions. It's best I just stay home where I'm loved. Now if I'm thinking a little chance, in the mood for something fancy, think of all those mademoiselles in Chateauroux. Oh, my heart will keep me grounded to this place where I found you, 'cause I'm glad to just be home. I'm grateful to be home where I'm loved. It's best I just stay home where I'm loved. Yeah, it's best I just stay here where my name's only called in the clear and clever cadence of your voice, where desire plays like music in shadows on the walls. When you glide across a room, I have no choice. My heart is in submission to those feral expeditions. I'm glad to just be home where I'm loved, and I'm grateful to be home where I'm loved. It's best I just stay home where I'm loved. Pandemic love song.
Feral?
Feral.
Feral.
As in wild.
I heard virile, I'm sorry.
It could be. Let's run with that. I hope what I will do is through my songs and maybe a few stories, I will let you know the real Sean Harrison. That's what I want to do. And what that means is, what is a quirky, oddball, Northwest Arkansas songwriter really like? What makes him tick and how does he think? And so I'll try to take you all on that little journey. And that first song is pretty much true, because I'm pretty much totally in love. The best thing about me, if you really got to know right up front, is that I'm married to Clara. That's the best. And we have 2 great daughters and 2 great grandkids, not great grandkids, just super kids, super grandkids. And I'm the luckiest man in the world. So I am an Arkansas songwriter, and so I have influences from everything. I've lived in different places around the world, never out of the South in the United States, but I've lived in southern Spain and in London and a few months in Switzerland and traveled all around because my dad was a novelist and a screenwriter and a professor of creative writing. He was a fine writer. He was famous for a little while. The talent did not pass down. That's why I became a songwriter. You can keep it short and you have some music to kind of sweeten the bad poetry. That's the way I look at it. I'll tell you another thing, and maybe I should save it till later, but today happens to be June 25th, the 47th anniversary of the release of a movie called Rollerball. How many of you remember Rollerball? That is Dad's most famous piece. Not his greatest, but most famous. It was released in 1975 on this day. And maybe I'll just play the damn song. But the story is background to a song called Son of Rollerball. Because I have friends who said, you know, your dad is famous for writing Rollerball. You should write a song called Son of Rollerball. And I've been hearing this for years. And I thought, you know, it just could be so pretentious and self-centered. And then I started learning how to write songs where I can make fun of guys just like me. And make fun of guys who take themselves too seriously, because I really dig doing that. Because I think we've got a problem in this country with guys who take themselves too damn seriously.
Hear, hear.
So I have a good time putting them in their place, song-wise. But let me just try to do this. I have not played this for very many people. I played it for my mom and my brother and my sister, and the melody was borrowed from a song my dad used to sing. An old, I think, Hungarian folk song called Ivan Skavinsky Skavar. If any of you have heard of that, I'll be amazed. But it's an old folk song, and Dad sang it with this beautiful, deep baritone and with a lot of dramatic flair, because that's how Dad was. I'm more of a subdude. But I borrowed from the melody of that old folk song, and as soon as I started playing, and this was last Thanksgiving, I wasn't really quite even finished, I presented it to my mother and my sister and brother, and Mom immediately started crying before I sang a word, because, well, she recognized the melody. And so I knew if I ever would write Son of Rollerball, I had to have a little fun and not take it very seriously. So here's Son of Rollerball. The story, the game, and the glory, and its greatest mutation of all. Everything that he is, ever was, the son of Rollerball. It started in Munich, stunned men on the set, the young man completely enthralled. He envisioned a life of success on the track, the son of Rollerball. He fastened the skates and straps tight the helmet. He pulls on the gloves with the gleaming steel spikes. He He'll practice and master the moon pie swoop. He'll level those bastards on motorbikes. But it wasn't meant to be. He was only 5'3". He's going back to Hotel Schnittrat with a bandage on his knee. With a bandage on his knee. I need a bigger voice. The action shots of the movie were shot in Munich. There's a lot more to this story, but let me just do this song. He envisioned a life of a roller crime fighter, determined to answer the call. He envisioned a life of heroic adventure, the son of rollerball. I haven't done it many times. He'll take to the streets full of danger and mayhem, ripped and ready to brawl. Pity the foe who will tread on the toe of the son of rollerball. Yes, he'll fasten the skates and strap tight the helmet. He'll pull on the gloves with the gleaming steel spikes. He will practice and master the moon pie swoop. He'll let a big truck graze his side. But it wasn't meant to be. He was nothing like Jonathan E. So he's going back to the London flat with a bandage on his knee, boys, with a bandage on his knee. One day the son said, "Dad, I don't know if I could rise to walk in your shoes." "Young man," said Father Rollerball, "is just be whatever you choose." And he wasn't sure what that meant. He was afraid to ask. "What do you mean, Dad?" Like sons of the prophets, both hardy and bold, or bold and hardy, he donned gear, jersey and all. He was the featured attraction at a child's birthday party, the son of rollerball. Yes, he fastened the skates, straps tight the helmet. He pulls on the gloves with the gleaming steel spikes. He will teach them the trick of the moon pie swoop. He'll run with those boys and girls on their bikes. It was always meant to be, because to them he was Jonathan E. So he's followed his mom back to Arkansas with a band-aid on his knee. With a band-aid on his knee, boys. With a superhero band-aid on his knee. I messed it up a little bit because I haven't played it much, but we were living in London on a shoestring when Dad was on sabbatical from the University of Arkansas, where he taught creative writing. When he got a call from somebody and they said, "Norman Jewison wants to take your short story and turn it into a feature film." My short story, Rollerball Murder? Yes. Can I write the screenplay? Hell no. Talk to Norman Jewison about that. Long story short, Dad did write the screenplay. We celebrated because that was big money, like $100,000. That was like getting $1 million back then. So Dad actually, when we got back home, he bought another house. He just bought a house, a nice house. And that helped a lot because he was a career teacher on a career teacher's salary. So that was a big score. But he went to Munich where they shot, where stuntmen and the whole thing was shooting the game. Action. You ever seen the movie, y'all? Yeah. A lot of action. Futuristic, dystopian. The wars corporations have taken over the world. Yeah, imagine that. There's no reason to have war, but we have bloodlust in our hearts as flawed human beings, right? So he invented a game called rollerball where people die playing this game, and that satisfied our bloodlust. And Jonathan E. became a star. So the average person, this song doesn't mean anything to anybody but my family, really. But you would have to know that the game was shot in Munich, because we were already over the pond. It was great. The interior shots were done at Pinewood Studios, and we were already living there, so it just worked out great. I didn't get to go out there, but Dad spent a lot of time out at Pinewood Studios. And then, we're from Arkansas, so it's a song that takes you on those journeys with that. Nobody knows what the moon pie swoop is.
I was going to ask.
The moon pie, there was a lovely, lovable character named Moon Pie. Handsome fella acted the part. And Moon Pie would stand at the top of a very banked track with a lot of speed, motorcycles and skaters. Moon Pie would kind of hide at the top of the track and wait for an enemy to come around, and he would time his swoop and just knock hell out of them. It was called the Moon Pie swoop. And so if you Google rollerball, there's a whole cult of fans around it who still talk about it. And when they do these things, these stupid things on Facebook of, top 10 underrated science fiction movies, rollerball is part of that usually. So it still has a life. It's amazing because it released in 75. Anyway, I'm talking way too much.
Is that the one with James Caan?
Yeah, James Caan. There was a second version of the movie. There was a remake in 95 or something. It really sucked. And Dad didn't like the way either one of them turned out. He said the original rollerball should have had the look and the feel and the darkness of Blade Runner, which has a great screen presence, right? Just one of my favorites.
He didn't like it, but the check did clear the bank.
The check cleared the bank. He bought a nice house. And that helped our little family a lot.
Maybe it's time to call Netflix and see if get that 6-episode series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, minimum 6. Minimum.
So there's all that. But I grew up on that college campus. And I was born in 59. So by the time 1968, a significant year, happened, I was aware of keeping an eye on things. And Dad used to bring home albums. He brought home the Beatles' Rubber Soul when I was like 5. Okay? That album imprinted on me so strongly that it affects me now. Bob Dylan, The Freewheelin', had all that great stuff. And if you think about, wow, what an album. A Hard Rain Is Gonna Fall. Holy shit, that's pertinent now, isn't it? He wrote it when he was 21 years old. Oh my God, what was I doing when I was 21? Not any good.
Don't answer that, you might end up
Wasn't writing songs like that. So it all, and these writing students who came through town, and visiting writers, and the turbulence of the 60s. We were on a college campus. I marched in that 1968 National, Peace March. Carried a torch. Thought it was so cool. I could look up and I saw these guys I really admired. Wow, this is cool. I'm with the hippies now. So all of that influenced me and made me the songwriter that I am. It all kind of forms up here in the brain over time. And I take in all this stuff and I read novels and histories, and I hear stuff and I see stuff, and it does something in my head and comes back out as some song to you guys. So I like storytelling. And I write Americana country, according to the music writers. Americana leaning a little bit to country. Well, not all of it does. I recently wrote a kind of rap, funky folk protest song. We'll get around to that. But I'll do you a pure Arkansas story right now, with a grain of truth and a little bit made up, and it's called The Last Water Tower. And yes, I did climb water towers back in my drinking days. I've climbed every water tower in this county, except one that's over on the VA grounds. And I plan to hit that last one when I can figure how to get past those security men in trucks, always making their rounds. And I know them water towers must serve some public measure with 300 kilopascals of hydrostatic pressure, but they shouldn't have built them so tall and then made trespass a crime, because water towers were made to climb. Now, first problem with those security men, they know my reputation. They know my intent, they know my face, and they know my transportation. So I'll have to be quick or clever, or create a great diversion, if I'll even have half a chance of achieving my incursion. Yes, I know that water towers must serve some public measure with 300 kilopascals of hydrostatic pressure, but they shouldn't have built them so tall and then made trespass a crime, because water towers were made to climb. Now I'll tell you about my favorite time of those high climbing exploits. I took Becky Lou Hazelhoffen up there on a big ellipsoid. We got high and we made love and lay back and watched the stars, and we turned with the world, a world that was only ours. Man, when I think about Becky Lou Hazelhoffen, what a memory. But back to the story at hand, I suppose. I set the date, made my plans, worked out every detail. I even constructed a model of the VA grounds on a small scale. As that date approached, there grew a great tension in the air. And I drove past, there were security men in trucks everywhere. More security men than I had ever seen. What to do, what to do, what to do. Well, it's a good time to just tell you about another one of my proudest achievements. I've got a little spot of land, little hideaway, on a cove in the lake up in the north part of our county. I've got a salvage barge there, anchored up in there, and every once in a while I'll take that salvage barge out and just usually drink a few beers and party around the lake, but sometimes I'll lift up a sunken boat. That's what it's made for. I've got cars up on blocks that don't run. It is Arkansas. Trucks, I got motorcycles that haven't run in decades. Lawnmowers. It is Arkansas. The only thing that runs on my hideaway compound is my gyrocopter. You know what a gyrocopter is? Single-seater, like the fan. And I'll drink a few beers and fly around over the treetops around the lake. Have a good time. What can possibly go wrong? When I landed the gyrocopter on the salvage barge, I became the first and the only owner of an aircraft carrier in the state of Arkansas. I flew in over those BB grounds. Security men got safe. And when I landed softly atop their water tower, well, they went crazy. And I hung my banner across the front for the world to read. I did it. And I flew off, leaving security men embarrassed to admit. Yes, I know that water towers must serve some public measure with 300 kilopascals of that hydrostatic pressure. But they shouldn't have built them so tall, then made trespass a crime. Because water towers were made to climb or land on, whatever you gotta do to get up there.
No wonder you took that picture when you first came into Alamogordo.
When I travel around and I see a good-looking water tower, I get up as close to it as I can. That's the song that gets more questions and comment than anything I play. And so I do these selfies with water towers and put them on Facebook.
But just don't try to climb
It's
that
not
one,
that
because
hard
it's
to get into this one down here.
No,
the short,
yeah, it's falling apart.
the short squat water tower.
Yeah, the big black
Yeah, you're by
tall thing.
Walgreens, right?
Oh.
No, the green one.
The green ones.
Kind of greeny.
The one over by.
Yeah.
When we came in town, driving down here from up north, there was a big water tower there near the old downtown, and it has short legs. It's like, just take a couple of seconds to climb up it. It's no kind of
I don't
challenge
think
at
it'll
all.
hold your weight.
I don't think it will generate 300 kilopascals.
I'm talking about the big metal one that's tall.
That's what I like.
You need to drive the highway down into El Paso, because you go in, there's a series of water towers that look like they're giant rebound cushions for a massive pinball machine.
Oh, that sounds
You
great.
can see a big silver ball coming towards you, just drive like hell.
I love it. Yes, sir. Do you need to ask a question?
Just a comment. Alamogordo's newest water tower is on the north end of town by the overpass.
Yeah.
And just after they completed it, I sent a letter to the editor of the Alamogordo Daily News suggesting to the city fathers that they have it painted in the image of a mushroom cloud. And it was a tongue-in-cheek suggestion. Some people were annoyed and some people were amused.
Well, this was Atomic City, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One time, yeah.
Well, we'll get this. Just a month ago, and I had a show a couple of days after this news item in Little Rock. I had a show in Little Rock. Not too far from there, in the boondocks of Arkansas. There's a water tower. Oh, it's in Johnny Cash's hometown. Did you see the news?
Yes.
Was it national news? All right, I do some stuff, in tribute to Johnny Cash, and I allude to him in one of my songs. Because we're both from Arkansas, so we're related, of course. Leave on Helm, too. Leave on Helm. So this, one of the songs I chose to play when I do an occasional bit of a cover song is Long Black Veil, because the band did a version after Johnny Cash made it famous. And I'm a big fan of the band, and especially Leave on Helm, because we're related, because we're both from Arkansas. But for those of you that didn't see it, the news was, and it made national news, the water tower in Johnny Cash's hometown has an image of him, and it's in profile kind of. It's just black on. You can see that it's the man in black.
It's a big silhouette.
Somebody shot the water tower and hit him right in the dick, and the water is pouring out. And I thought, wow. First of all, what kind of weapon will shoot through a water tower? My God. And then, what a shot. Hit Johnny Cash right in the dick. My gosh.
There's another song for you.
It should be.
Dave and Johnny Cash got pissed.
Somebody shot him. So that's some funny stuff. All right. We're already telling off-color jokes.
It's all good.
So here's one of those songs where I get to make fun of a guy who just really doesn't get it. And I love it. So it's called Paydays. It's about a guy who only gets it on paydays, and he doesn't quite put all that together. Start over. I've got $2 and change and 33 cents. You see, my folding money went with my honey, and I haven't seen them since. I'm out of cigarettes, and I'm down to my last few swallows of old Kentucky. But tomorrow's payday, that's when I get lucky, because my woman only loves me on paydays. I've got to hurry to the bank with my check. I can't afford to be waylaid. You know what I mean? Oh, a big wad of dough in my front left pocket puts the sparkle in her eyes, and she's ready to rock it. My woman only loves me on payday. So I can't complain if she only gives it up bi-weekly. You see, some good buddies of mine, well, she cut them off completely. I get a little behind every so often, so I'll go to that old payday lender. There's no credit at home, she only goes cash tender. Yes, my woman only loves me on payday. I've got to hurry to the bank with my check. I can't afford to be waylaid. No, I can't. A big wad of dough in my front left pocket puts the sparkle in her eyes, and she's ready to rock it. My woman only loves me on payday. So get this. I can always hope for something each year around the end of the fiscal year. If things point up with the quarterly notice, the holiday check gives me a big old bonus. My woman only loves me on payday. I've got to hurry to the bank with my check. I can't afford to be waylaid. A big wad of dough in my front left pocket puts the sparkle in her eyes, and she's ready to rock it. My woman only loves me on paydays, on paydays, on paydays.
Oh, you need to sell that to somebody.
Yeah, really.
Radio.
Okay, so first of each month, we keep separate accounts, but I help out with utilities, groceries, etc. So first of each month, she gets what I call the cheeseburger in paradise check.
That sounds good. So I don't really co-write. I've tried it. I've been to a lot of seminars and retreats and training programs, a lot of Nashville stuff. I kind of wanted to, I thought I really just want to write songs that big stars in Nashville will sing. Just send me checks, and I'll hear it on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
But turns out those songs are so fucking stupid I can't write them. I'm serious. They're all about the same thing nowadays. The back road down to the river, the girl's in my seat and the beer is cold and we're going to go party down by the river.
Sounds like a
I
good
mean,
song.
that's all the same shit. Pardon my French.
I can't believe you could not sell that song about payday. I mean, I can hear that coming out
Yeah.
the radio.
Well, Nashville it's a weird place. It's not so much about the music. It's about the music business. And here's the thing. They, occasionally a really good song gets picked up by a really good artist and they do some good stuff. But for the most part, the bread and butter of Nashville is junk that teenage girls will buy. So they want to hear a masculine, hunky voice singing about how he loves a woman. They pay money all the time for that. That's where the money is. So that's where Nashville focuses. They might like some of my silly new love songs, but I haven't talked to Nashville in quite a while. I was born in that town. My album is named Halfway from Nashville, and it's about a timeline. It's about being at the midpoint in life, halfway from Nashville, because I was born there. But it's a game I just couldn't really play very well. And I would rather them to notice me instead of me chasing them around trying to sell a song. I just don't like doing that. I don't like chasing it around. If they hear something and they say, hey, that's pretty good, and they call me, well, then that's fine. I would love to talk to them. But I'm not going to chase them around. It's a rat race.
So what did the women sing about?
They sing some good songs.
Really?
And I haven't listened to it much lately, but they kind of make fun of the bro country guys who take themselves too seriously. They're the suckers that I just sang about. And another one that I look forward to doing for you. But what I was going to do, I started telling you I don't really co-write, but one of my favorite writers is John Dufresne. He writes terrific stuff. And 20-something years ago in his book, Louisiana Power and Light, he wrote about some places there was a motel that he called the Cat Dragged In. And he's good at coming up with this stuff. A beauty parlor called the Curl Up and Die. So across the street, I saw that and I thought, wow. And I took a photo and sent it to John. I said, I don't know if you stole it from them or they stole it from you. Somebody stole something from somebody, because that's what writers do.
Homage.
Yeah. We will take any good, I say it's the ping. Somebody will say something clever and it ping. Well, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to use that. So we claim we borrow it more than steal it, because you can have it back. It belongs to everybody. These ideas, these turns of phrase and these funny stories, it's all been heard and told before. We just get to put our new little spin on it and recycle it. That's what I think anyway. But here's the thing. Okay, I was reading a John Dufresne novel and he had a line in there. It was, we humans, here halfway between the stars and the atoms. And then he finished his line, but I stopped right there. We're halfway between the stars and the atoms. My God, I love that. I gotta have it. I'm working on this sad waltz ballad about a gifted but disabled, oversized man who can't get love. So the song is Ode to a Goner. And I sent off an email to John. I said, this line, John, I gotta have this line. Do you want to co-write a song? And he wrote back, yeah, what's the song about? So we traded emails and hammered out this song. John wrote the last verse. He wrote that Stars and Adam, or he got it somewhere. I got it from him. Give him co-writing credit. He wrote the last verse, and I'm glad he did. The last verse is really good. Big boy's a goner, and maybe this time forever. His fate is unknown. We will not see him soon. So remember his smile, his adventurous style, when the sirens moan softly to the bright manic moon. Well, he's a big, big man with the mind of a child, yet he hurts for the touch of a woman so mild. We sat by the lake a few Mondays ago, and he asked me what there was beyond the only home he has known. And he told me that night, Mr. Patton, if we're halfway between stars and atoms, and all the colors and shapes I can fathom, why do girls have to be? I can't have them. Why do girls have to be? I can't have them. So big boys are gone. I think he's not coming home, 'cause living's not loving, and you can't love alone. So remember his smile, his adventurous style, when the sirens moan softly to the bright manic moon. To the bright manic moon.
It's not anything like the picture of the big boy that I saw you take.
Big boy. Yeah,
I really like that song.
Really?
that's a good song.
Really?
Good song.
Now, where is the big boy? You were sworn to secrecy, but where is he?
Oh, yeah, I also do selfies with Big Boy when I see
Yeah.
Big Boy restaurants.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know,
Shoney's
remember
Big
that?
Boy.
I saw
Yeah.
that. No.
And people say, well, why is he promoting the old restaurant chain? I don't get that. It's because people who, my fans, all 5 of them, they know about Big Boy. And so if they see a Big Boy, they'll say, here he is, can't believe where we found him. Big Boy is a goner, but I found him. And so it's just a game we play. And I found one in the boonies of Colorado. Where were we, Clarice?
I do not remember.
We were driving
No connection.
from like Gallup up to Durango. Or maybe it was Durango up to the Grand Mesa outside of Grand Junction. Because this is the 12th of 12 shows. This is it. This is the final one out of 12 shows these last 2 weeks. We've been traveling a lot. And I played outdoor venues, and I tell these people, this is the most beautiful venue I've ever played, because there's a mountain right there, and there's a stream between me. It's just so beautiful. And we would like to move out here, but we're not gonna. Because we love Fayetteville very, very much. And our moms are there, our fathers have passed, our daughters are there, and 2 grandkids. We just call them collectively the circus. Because when they're coming over, the circus is coming to our house. Or we call them the munchkins. Anyway, we're really, really lucky. And we love our home life in Fayetteville. Tomorrow we'll drive home. And it'll take 12 hours or something, but we're going to make it because it'll be good to be home. It's been a great trip. This is a great way to end it, Claudia, out here in Alamogordo with a up close, we can talk, we can ask questions, we can mess with each other a little bit.
Do you remember Sambo's?
Sambo's? I kind of do. Wow.
Yeah.
Looking back on it.
I tried
Wow, what were they
down
thinking?
the Sambo's in my hometown.
So here's the song I sent to Nashville, and they said, hey, you've got a hit song there on your hand. I said, yeah, I did everything y'all told me to do. Keep it to 3 chords. Have a catchy melody for the chorus, or a hook. And it's about a guy who loves a girl. And it's got some clever stuff in it, Sean. I said, okay, so Blake Shelton's going to sing it? No. No. We don't think anybody's going to sing it. You go ahead and sing it. But it's a good hit song. Or it would have been a few years ago, before we here in Nashville just lost our minds and did this bro country thing. But this is called Go-To Girl. Because one night, in the middle of the night, Clarice kind of woke up, and in her sleep, she said, I always want to be your go-to girl.
Aww.
So this has all the elements. When we first met, that I would go to her, and she must have felt the same thing too, cause she would go to me. Oh, we just go together, we go to forever, up to the 2 of us, go to wherever. She's my go-to girl, I'm her go-to boy. Some people say love is a serious misunderstanding between 2 fools. That would make me the biggest fool in the whole wide world. But I feel sorry for anyone who isn't me, because my heart's so full of joy. She's my go-to girl, I'm her go-to boy. She's my go-to girl, and I'm her go-to boy. Well, I tell her I'ma go to the market, gonna grab a few things. She says I wanna go to, just give me a minute to change. And I would go to the ends of the earth to bring back something she enjoys. Cause she's my go-to girl, I'm her go-to boy. Some people say love is a serious misunderstanding between 2 fools. Well, that would make me the biggest fool in the whole wide world. But I feel sorry for anyone who isn't me, because my heart's so full of joy. She's my go-to girl, I'm her go-to boy. She's my go-to girl, and I'm her go-to boy. Yeah, she's my go-to girl, and I'm her go-to boy. Well, it really stirs me up how she loves my old beat-up face. standing in one place. Some people say love is a serious misunderstanding between two fools. That would make me the biggest fool in the whole wide world. But I feel sorry for anyone who isn't me, because my heart's so full of joy. And she's my go-to girl, I'm her go-to boy. Oh yeah, she's my go-to girl, and I'm her go-to girl, and I'm her go-to boy. She's my go-to girl, and I'm her go-to boy. It's kind of a 90s jam.
But I'm
How
surprised they
catchy it
didn't
is.
pick it up because of that Johnny Cash-esque bend on the G-string. I haven't heard that in a really
Oh,
long
I
time.
love that stuff. Country. Let's see. Oh, another thing country did quite a while back and still does is borrow from the blues, and especially a country blues shuffle. And my album, and anybody who makes a donation here tonight, please grab a CD. I would like you to hear that CD. I'm really proud of it. I produced it on a shoestring. I got friends who played well. The whole thing was made for like a tenth of what those guys spend in Nashville. And guys like me get suckered and go spend that kind of money in Nashville and get some of the cool cats in the studio, or who they think are the cool cats. I released it. It ended up after a bad experience with a record label that didn't do anything except claim all the credit after I'd already produced it, all the music I did. Well, I decided, I'll just release it myself, by God, and I did. And music writers really liked it. And I was just so flattered and so pleased. And not just for myself, but for the guys who worked with me on that album. We spent a year recording in bedrooms and oddball studios where we had to have some isolation and that kind of thing. But in living rooms and bedrooms, and then I put it all together and sent it to a young man named Paul Carabello in Springfield, Missouri, who is really sharp. And he doesn't have a fancy place. He has a sort of a cutout in his attic. And he gets up there, and he puts on the headphones, and he's just a master at mixing and mastering and making all these tracks that we worked together on sound like they were played all at once in the same place, and everybody was really good. He couldn't do much with my vocal. It is what it is. And one of the music critics said, "All right, I like this album. I listened to it a few times. But let's get one thing out of the way. Sean Harrison's not really a singer, is he? No, he's not a very good singer. But, and his music doesn't really break any new musical territory, does it? It's kind of traditional with a little bit of his own homey spin on it." And he said, but what we have here is a collection of really good songs. And that's what I wanted. That's all I need. I don't need to have a great voice. I don't need to be a great guitar player. I care about the songs. And so that particular critic I thought was the most honest, because a lot of them carry on. And I think, what kind of game are they playing? And it was complimentary, but sometimes over the top. There was a writer who said, Harrison's voice is convincing, sometimes Siri. And I was like, what the fuck?
Siri!
Who are you?
Siri!
Yeah, it burns your ears, maybe. Anyway, I'm not supposed to talk bad about myself.
So, backing up that bit of narrative just a little bit, you're going to wait till he swallows first. how is a bedroom not an oddball studio?
Oh, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's just you had the two grammatically separated.
It's
So I was wondering.
got all the soft stuff in there to break
Well,
the sound. So
those are oddball places to record.
Mhm.
But and when I say bedrooms, living rooms, back rooms, and oddball studios, we had to go into a few studios, and these were sort of off the beaten path. Some cat had a good isolation room, so that drums could be recorded without bleeding into other stuff.
Okay.
That's just recording technology. So there were a few times where we needed an isolation room, but you can record an album on a cell phone now. And you need the quality of the mic makes a difference. The sound of the room or the baffling. And sound people understand how to get the sound right. And rooms are actually built and tuned to a good studio. They spend a lot on those rooms and the baffling and the shape of the walls, and they wouldn't have a metal ceiling because the sound bounces around.
Right.
I hope I sound good to you all through these speakers in this room,
Oh, you sound
but
good.
there's a little bit of reverberation going on.
you should have heard it before all of these screens for the art came in. That really changed the sound of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Anything soft.
That's why the bedrooms.
My bigger point was that I made this record on a shoestring budget, and the critics gave me some credit, mainly for the songwriting, but for the sound too. It's produced well, and it goes back to you all. Please grab a CD. Don't leave here without a CD. I want you to hear it. My friend Don Martin, the drummer, just did some great stuff. Like on this next song, it's got a country blues shuffle kind of sound. And so I will just imitate it by doing this. But he got this great shuffle on the snare, and it takes skill to do that. Down in Texas, they're real good at the Texas shuffle. And throughout the South, the blues cats are really good at those kind of things. So I really got off on a long tangent to introduce the next song, which has that kind of rhythm. Later on, I might ask y'all to actually provide some rhythm. You could do this. But for now, hear in your head that shuffle that a good drummer would do. And it just makes you want to just, every rhythm and every tempo and every beat does something different. And you know this from dancing. Does something different in our psyche, and it's physical and emotional and mental and everything. That's why a slow ballad in 3/4 time has a certain feel. It does something to us. And you're ready to hear an interesting story when you hear this. And then it all comes from the blues, too. It came from the cotton fields. And I can talk more about this later. But rock and roll is just that stuff sped up. Chuck Berry invented rock and roll by speeding up the blues. Elvis was handsome and charismatic and put a little hillbilly on it, and they called it rockabilly. And he made rock and roll famous. He made a lot of, Chuck Berry didn't make much money. He just invented rock and roll, that's all.
That's all.
And it will live forever. So anyway, here's my country shuffle song, Big Decisions. Another one about a guy who doesn't get it. And I love to just tell it like it is on him. Hear those drums. When we got married, it was understood this old boy is gonna run the show. Well, Well, she smiled, she said she was the queen of my castle. If I need her help, just let her know. I make the big decisions, and she makes the little ones. There just hasn't been a big decision to make, and I'm pretty okay with whatever she said, 'cause I make the big decisions. She takes care of all that little stuff, and sometimes there's gonna be a big decision to make, and she'll let me know when that is. Well, she traded the family car for a new one. She signed my name on a 5-year loan. She said, baby, there's no reason you should sweat the small stuff. And then she went out and refinanced the home. But I made the big decisions, 'cause she makes the little ones. There just hasn't been a big decision to make, and I'm pretty okay with whatever she said, 'cause I make the big decisions, yeah. She takes care of all that little stuff, and sometimes there's gonna be a big decision to make, and she'll let me know when that is. Oh, but I'm not stubborn, I'll do a few things that she wishes, because no man ever got shot while washing dishes. I make the big decisions, and she makes the little ones. There just hasn't been a big decision to make, and I'm pretty okay with whatever she said. I make the big decisions, yeah I do. She takes care of all that little stuff, and sometimes there's gonna be a big decision to make. She'll let me know when that is. And sometimes there's gonna be a big decision to make. She'll let me know when that is.
Do you want to hear something really
I
interesting?
do.
Just a little thing. There are 72 major rhythms in Middle Eastern music, and they all have names.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. And they all serve a purpose.
They all do.
I love that. Now, what do I want to do? How about a brand new song? And on this tour, this tour is the only time I've played this song. It's called Nothing. And it's another silly little love song. And people really like it.
You seem surprised.
Well, I am surprised. I wouldn't have thought. But let me play Nothing for you. I hope I remember the words. If I don't, it doesn't matter. It's really more syllables than words on this particular song. If you really want to know what you ever need to say that would make me love you all the more, it's nothing. And if you really want to know what you would ever do that would make my love for you just fade away, it's nothing. And if you really want to know what could happen that would take away this thing we've got, oh, it's nothing. Oh, if you really want to know what you ever need to say, it's nothing. Well, if you ever want to put me in a tizzy, make me dizzy with desire and my eyes go blurry, just do something. And if you do it for a little while, a little mischief in your pretty smile, and make me loopy, that would be something. And if you ever get tired saying nothing, well, maybe you can take a chance and just say something. And if you ever want to put me in a tizzy, get my hormones busy, just do something. 'Cause when you do something, something, well, it'll sure change everything. And that would really be something, to make something out of nothing. It just means everything when you start with nothing. And then you just take anything and make something out of nothing. Martha says, Clem, I don't know what that boy is singing about, but it sounds dirty to me. That was Martha McGillicuddy, somebody I made up. So let's talk about everything. And it's a given when we talk about everything. We usually talk about anything. And when we talk about anything, we have a way of getting all the way back to the talk about nothing. And nothing leads back to the whole thing, to start again at the point where we finally get around to something. So let's talk about everything, because it makes me happy. Clem Gillicuddy says, Martha, I think that sounds like one of those true facts. But when you do something, well, it'll sure change everything. And it'll really be something, to make something out of nothing. It just means everything when you start with nothing. And then you just take anything and make something out of nothing. And as I said, it's a new song. And it occurred to me the words don't matter as much as the syllables, because it kind of clips along in this syncopated way. Like an auctioneer will add syllables and stuff to create more excitement and speed it up. If you really want to know what you ever would say that would make me love you all the more, it's nothing. If you really want to know what you'd ever do that could make my love for you just fade away, it's nothing. And if you really want to know what could happen that would ever take away this thing we got, it's nothing. Oh, if you ever want to know what you ever need to say, it's nothing. Oh, if you ever want to put me in a tizzy, make me dizzy with desire, and my eyes go blurry, just do something. You do it for a little while. And if you do it for a little while, a little mischief in a pretty smile, make me loopy, that would be something. And if you ever get tired of saying nothing, maybe you could take a chance and just say something. Or if you ever want to put me in a tizzy, get my hormones busy, just do something. When you do something, it'll sure change everything. That'll really be something, to make something out of nothing. It just means everything. You start with nothing, then just take anything, make something out of nothing. So let's talk about everything. This is given when we talk about everything. We usually talk about anything. And when we talk about anything, we have a way of getting all the way back to talk about nothing. And nothing leads back to the whole thing. Start again at the point where we finally get around to something. So let's talk about everything, because it makes me happy. But when you do something, it'll sure change everything. And it really is something, to make something out of nothing. You just do everything. You start with nothing. You just take anything. Just take anything. Make something out of nothing. You just take anything. Make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
I bet your grandchildren love that song.
They haven't heard that.
They have not. Oh, they're going to love it. That's just delightful.
Here's another brand new one. And this is the one that is my sort of funky, rap, cosmic country protest folk song. It's all that. And it's called Living on Mars. It's really going to suck. It's funky. I haven't written funky before. You won't surf a wave. That's wrong. Pardon me, singing the second verse first. I should have just run with it. Here we go. You won't climb a tree. You won't fish in a stream on Mars. You won't feel the sun on your skin while sitting on the grass in a park. You won't dive right in an old swimming hole. You won't walk in the woods with the one you love with all your heart and soul. It'll be the last of the good times you'll ever be having. It's the worst kind of camping you can ever imagine. In a modular atmospheric biodome where you're stuck. It's pod living, virtual reality. You go pod to pod, you don't really do anything. Living on Mars really ain't gonna suck. Telling you. You won't surf a wave. You won't ride any rapids on Mars. You won't search a cave. And you won't bust on a corner around town playing your guitar. You wanna walk to the store but conditions won't let you. You think about trying but you sure would regret it. There ain't no store there anyway. You can be shopping in a pod on Saturdays. You wanna meet new people. There's no new people. It's the same damn people that you always seem to run into in the biodome day after day after day after day. It'll be the last of the good times you'll ever be having. It's the worst kind of camping you can ever imagine. In a modular atmospheric biodome where you're stuck. There's a pod for running and a pod for sitting. There's a pod for smoking and a pod for waiting. I'm living on Mars, really gonna suck. Living on Mars is really gonna suck. This is sing along if you want. On Mars is really gonna suck. Living on Mars is really gonna suck. I'm telling you, living on Mars is really gonna. Will it be the last of the good times you'll ever be having? It's the worst kind of camping you can ever imagine. In a modular atmospheric biodome where you're stuck. There's a pod for your children's education. There's a pod for your sexual gratification. But living on Mars is really gonna suck. Living on Mars is really gonna suck. I'm telling you. It takes about 10 months to fly to Mars. All that anti-gravity. Your body's never going to be the same. And it's definitely one way. It costs about $1 million. I don't care what Elon Musk says. And to go to all that trouble and all that expense, why not just take care of sweet Mother Earth, you know? I mean, who do we think we are? Earth is our home, there's no place like it. Earth is our home, there's no place like it. You can sing it. Earth is our home, there's no place like it. Earth is our home, there's no place like it. Can we take a 5-minute break?
Absolutely.
I'm a man of a certain age. This is really, really fun.
I'm having a good time.
Oh.
Oh, please eat some more chicken enchiladas.
and save me one.
Please, I'll be eating it for the next one.
Welcome back. And what I want to do is play some pieces of songs and do a kind of mash medley. These tunes have been with me since I was 5, 6 years old. When the Beatles' Rubber Soul came out, and when Bob Dylan's Freewheelin' came out, Dad brought those home, and I was just a little guy. And I sat by this old wooden antique mono record player, and I just listened to these songs over and over and over. So I'll try to make it quick through these. I'm not really a cover song kind of guy, but this shows you why I'll for instance, I'll do a song after I do this, and that's where these songs come from. It started when I was a little guy, 5 years old. I've just seen your face, I can't hold it. I'm a place where we just met. You're just the girl for me. I want all the world to see me. Had it been another day, I might have looked the other way, but I never been aware. But as it is, I'll never hurt. Yes, I'm falling. Keep holding me back in. Ain't no use to sit and wonder why, baby. You ain't gonna know by now. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, baby. It don't matter anyhow. When a rooster crows and the break of dawn, look out your window and now they gone. You're the reason I'm a traveling. Don't think twice, it's alright. I have never known the likes of this. I've been alone and I have mistakes and kept out of sight. But other girls were never quite like this. Falling, yes I'm falling. But you keep on me back again. Oh, falling, yes I'm falling. But you keep on me back again. It ain't no use in calling out my name like you've never done before. It ain't no use in calling out my name. I can't hear you anymore. Still I wish there was something you would do or say to try and make me change my mind and stay. There is too much talking anyway. Well, don't think twice, it's alright. It's alright. I once had a girl, or should I say, she once had me. She told me she worked in the morning, started to laugh. I told her I didn't and crawled off to sleep in the bath. This is called Drop D. song was The Killer, y'all. Bob Dylan. I didn't know what it meant. But I know that the images he wrote when he was 21 years old that haunted my little mind. It stuck with me. I'll just sing a verse or two because it's a lot of words. Where have you been, my blue-eyed son? Where have you been, my darling young one? I've stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. I've walked and I've crawled on 6 crooked highways. I've stepped in the middle of 7 sad forests. I've been out in front of a dozen dead oceans. I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard. And it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, oh, it's a hard rain. It's gonna fall. And what did you see, my blue-eyed son? What did you see, my darling young one? I saw a newborn baby with wild wolves all around it. I saw a black branch with blood that kept dripping. I saw a room full of men with their hammers bleeding. I saw a highway of diamonds with nobody on it. I saw guns and sharp swords in the hands of young children. And it's a hard, and it's a hard, and it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard rain. It's gonna fall. It's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard. Oh, it's a hard rain. It's gonna fall. A hard rain is gonna fall.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of stuff that led me to write this kind of stuff. It's called Gravel and Dirt. I had no reason to tell the truth, and I had no reason to lie. It didn't count that I survived my wild youth, and it won't matter when I die. And you'd see it that way too, if like me, you grew up on the corner of gravel and dirt. You'd have kept things in perspective and not get too reflective, and just move on from the corner of gravel and dirt. That town had only one way to dead ends, blind curves, near misses, as I can. The further I go, the more I learn who I am. I've felt 3 kinds of pain, seen the 4 kinds of brain. And I've changed 100 ways in my life, but I never changed my name. And you might feel that way too. You're like me. You grew up on the corner of gravel. You never found your way to steer along the road that brought you here. A long, long ways from the corner of gravel. Oh, gravel. Corner of gravel. And then from the countryside of things, Dad brought home a record by Bobby Gentry. Some of the greatest songs ever written in this medley. It was the 3rd of June, another sleepy, dusty Delta day. I was out chopping cotton and my brother was baling. And at dinner time we stopped and walked back to the house to eat. And Mama hollered at the back door, y'all remember like to feed. And she said she got some news this morning from Choctaw Ridge. Yeah, they Billy Joe McAllister jumped on the Tallahatchie Bridge. Johnny Cash. I do Long Black Veil because the band also did. There's the Brotherhood of Johnny Cash, Levon Helm, and Sean Harrison. We're all from Arkansas. 10 years ago, on a cold dark night, a stranger was killed beneath the town hall light. There were few at the scene, but they all agreed that the slayer who ran looked a lot like me. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave on the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Well, Papa said to Mama as he passed around the black-eyed peas. Well, Billy Joe never had a lick of sense. Pass the biscuits, please. I've got 5 more acres in the lower 40 I've got to plow. And Mama said it was a shame about Billy Joe anyhow. It seems like nothing no good ever happens up on Choctaw Ridge. And now Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. Roger Miller. Trailer for sale, rooms to let for 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, so 2 2 hours of pushing broom buys a 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. I love that song. And we lost John Prine about 18 months ago to COVID. If you know the words, feel free to join me. I am an old woman named after my mother. My father's another child that's grown old. Well, if dreams were lightning, thunder were desire, this old house would have burned down a long time ago. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living is just a hard way to go. Life isn't fair. John Prine should be with us. Third box come midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. Old beat up coat and shoes, I don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies I have found, short but not to be around. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road, king of the road. It's terrible to fuck the ending. And all that stuff led me to write songs like this one, title song to the album. You gotta hear the steel guitar players. Jerry Roller, he passed away this past year too, but he could really play the pedal steel guitar. It's on the album, it's on the CD, grab you one. At this point in my life, halfway from Nashville, I'm searching for clues to what it's all about. I'm divided and conquered, lack means and lack will, hoping old country songs help me figure this out. Earl says I just need to get through December. Dylan's answers in the wind they do blow. Mr. Cash had so many songs I can't remember, but he's been everywhere, man, so he ought to know. Who will sing me a song that makes a connection? 3 chords and a chorus with a sense of direction. If not Haggard or Dylan, then by God, Johnny Cash will. Tell me where the hell am I now, halfway from Nashville? All the songs that I write are about schmucks and losers. I guess autobiography is my chosen form. From grifters to wife thieves to other abusers, I've scripted myself to be lost and forlorn. So who will sing me the song that makes a connection? 3 chords and a chorus with a sense of direction. If not Haggard or Dylan, then by God, Johnny Cash will. Tell me where the hell am I now, halfway from Nashville? She said, Nobody's from here. They're from everywhere else. It was an old gypsy woman said my plan would succeed. So now it's just a plan that I need. So who will sing me the song that makes the connection? 3 chords and a chorus with a sense of direction. If not Haggard or Dylan, then by God, Johnny Cash. Tell me where the hell am I now, halfway from Nashville? Where the hell am I now, halfway from Nashville? We have time for 1 or 2 more.
No, we will stay in as long as you want to.
This is from before when I met Clarice and started writing silly love songs. I wrote about death. I wrote about death. And I liked it. All right. This is called Wake Up Dead. It's about a fella. The point of view is a fella whose life has been so unremarkable that he hopes in death he can kind of leave some kind of positive memory and something memorable, so we can die with a little stuff. I'd like to think I'll die in an interesting way, a final effort for some glory to my life, like falling from a cliff, or run over by a train, or attacked by an outlaw with a knife. We only get one chance to make it grand, and a man deserves to check out the best that he can. My living days are a little more than failure and dread. So one morning, probably I'll just wake up dead. If I know me, I'll just wake up dead. Dying is a lonely kind of art, a self-portrait splashing blue across my death. And either way I'll say voila with my last breath. We only get one chance to make it grand, and a man deserves to check out the best that he can. But my living days are a little more than failure and dread. So one morning, probably I'll just wake up dead. Yeah, if I know me, I'll just wake up dead. Corpse is not preferred for me. If you please let me be eaten by wild animals, not beaten by disease. Dying is a lonely kind of art, a self-portrait splashing blue across my death. If it's unexpected, it might just pour from my heart, and either way I'll say voila my last breath. But we only get one chance to make it grand, and a man deserves to knock off the best that he can. But my living days are a little more than failure and dread. so much morning, probably I'll just wake up dead. Yep, if I know me, I'll just wake up dead. Thank you so much for having me here, and all of you for being here. It's been a great pleasure to play for you. Lots of places I play, people just talk and yell and scream. I gotta play those kind of gigs to get to play these kind of gigs. Thank you. I like endings with death.
I bet you played mean and Gerald.
Oh, that's a good song, man.